Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Grand Cat and today we have a very special video. As you can see, the stage is missing, and whenever the stage is missing, it means we're unboxing something quite large. This is from the original Sonic series. This is the Tornado Biplane. This is the original red Tornado. Comes with a little Sonic action figure as well. It says batteries sold separately, requires 3 AA batteries. We might need to pause the video at some point if we want to see the 6 cool sounds from the game. Sonic figures included, 1 set, and there you can see a little bit of what is going on here. So we can't fit the entire thing in, so I'm just going to have to raise this up just a little bit so you can see the bottom of it, and hopefully there you can see what the top looks like. My goodness, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. There you can see the side as best as I can show you. At the top there, it does say Biplane Tornado, and there you've got the, I'm trying not to move the background. There you can see the Sonic with a little figurine. It comes with little peg holes the figure attaches, sounds from the game, and Light the Sky is what this is. So this is of course the little booster thing that he gets from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. That is when Tails is, well, if you're playing as Sonic, Tails is shot down by the Wing Fortress, and then Sonic, after he completes the level, Tails comes back up and he's got this rocket booster attached to help Sonic jump onto the side of Eggman's little ship that flies directly up to the Death Egg Zone, which is where you get the final boss fight of Sonic Adventure 2. So, without any further ado, let's just take a quick look at the other side, which really just has this little image here, and of course the big old Sonic from that side. Without any further ado, let's just try and open this up. You'll see I'm going to do my best with this. There is cell tape up here, so I will cut this open. I know you guys can't see it, but trust me, there is. And we're going to take a look and see exactly what we get in this set. So I'm going to move it down like this. I'm going to bring it out. So I'm going to try my hardest to do this. And there we go. This is what is inside. The rest of this is just empty. So this is what we are going to be looking at when you look at your biplane. And because of this now, I can actually rearrange the camera. So let's just move the camera to look down a little bit so that we can see. Can't exactly see everything, it's still cutting off the bottom, but you can get a glimpse, and there you can see what the inside looks like, and there you can see the Sonic figure and the actual biplane itself. So let's start off with cutting the ties to the biplane. That makes most sense to me. Okay, I think that's that part. So this is cool because this is the main part of the plane. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. I think this is where the batteries will go. So nothing actually happens at the moment because there's no batteries in there. But there you can see that's what the front of the design of the propeller looks like. So very interesting. There seems to be a little bit in here, but I don't think this is actually kind of any kind of switch. And well, we're gonna have to work out how all of this works. I'm sure there'll be an instruction manual, but it's just very nice to take a quick look at. So this is going to sit off to the side for just now. Our next main task is to take care of the tassels. So thankfully these are protected by cardboard, which is nice. And we've got some more up here that is not protected by cardboard, but we'll get those out in just a moment. We've also got a little Sonic figurine, so let's go ahead and cut him out of there. I don't think it's a new Sonic figure, I think this is the same Sonic figure that we've had a couple of times, but it will be interesting to see all the same. And I think, hopefully this is on camera. Okay, we have pushed out the basic wings. There they are on that side. And we still have the... So this one isn't actually in two parts. This is just one whole big segment up here. So we're going to have to try and get this out of there, which we're going to have to do very carefully. Just cut into here and into here. And is there one on this side? No, I think that is just held in by cardboard. Oh, there we are. That was easier than expected. And that appears to be everything that you get in the box. So, with that all out of the picture, this is a little bit easier than what I thought it was going to be. So we've got the main part here of the biplane. Of course, this is going to be on top. It's going to sit like this. And these parts must go on the bottom. And of course, they go this way. Just need to make sure so that this can actually connect into here. So for goodness sakes, do not click this in, because once it clicks in, it's going to be an absolute nightmare to get it back out. So just make sure that we've got them the right way. Why does that not look like that? Oh my goodness, I almost did exactly what I was talking about there. There we go. Okay, so thankfully it does go in only one way if you are similar to a big old grand cat, where you completely forget what is you're doing. And there we go. So that's quite cool, because there is the biplane without the top part included on it. And now we're going to flip this over. It's also really cool here, you can actually see there's little pegs here and here for characters to stand on. There is 4 pegs up at the top for characters to stand on. And of course, you've got the seat here that a character can sit in. So let's just go ahead and line this up, and it should just push in, hopefully. I just want to click it in at each of the points to make sure that it all goes the way that it does. So interestingly, with the big rocket part at the bottom, this part doesn't come off. This part here, this tail, this little wheel is never going to actually connect with the rest of the floor, because when it sits like this, and that wheel is up like this. So there is the actual biplane itself. Let's go ahead and open up our little Sonic the Hedgehog figure. It's interesting that it comes with a Sonic figure but not a Tails figure, and I guess that is because he is the mascot. It is actually Sonic's plane. It's not Tails' plane. That's a misconception. But Sonic owns the plane, and even though it is largely Tails that flies it, I don't know where Sonic got the plane from. I don't think that has ever been revealed. So there he is. He's got a little smile on his face. He has his both open hands, and we are going to put him on the top here. This is a 2-inch figure, not a 4-inch figure that it comes with. We're going to try and connect this onto the top part here, if we can. Just put him on the little peg. And there we go. That is what I am most familiar with, especially from the likes of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, where there is the Sky Fortress Zone, right before the Wing Fortress. I was thinking Sky Sanctuary, but it's not called that. I can't remember what it's called actually. It's the third last level in Sonic 2. But we do have a spare little original classic Tails, and he is the one who is going to sit in here, if we can perhaps do that. I'm going to have to move the hands a little bit like this, move the tails over to the side, and put the hands up, and hopefully he should be able to fit in there. So this Tails figure is exclusively going to be the pilot for the biplane. That is his one role from now on. So it's just a case of getting him to sit in there comfortably, which I might have to do off camera while I work out how these tails are going to sit in such a way that allows Tails to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera, we're going to pause the video, and I'm going to get some batteries, if I have any, and then put them into the biplane, and we're going to see what it does as well. So we'll be back in just a second, folks. Do bear with me. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Knuckles has also decided to join us. I managed to get Tails to sit in the cockpit, and we went to a slightly different camera angle, slightly higher one, just to really show off the entire scale of the biplane. And we've also got the batteries in it, so let me show you how this works. There's a little switch down here that you hear the little click sound when it goes off. If we press this little bit here on the back of the plane, that plays the money, the demonetizing money sounds. And unfortunately, I don't know how to actually get it to stop. Apparently, this also makes this do this. And also, turning the biplane to the left and right is what makes those little sounds. So we're going to turn that off for just a second and turn it back on. That is the Angel Island theme from Sonic 3. And also by pressing this little bit at the back here, this little wheel, if you just press it in, I'm going to show you it does something rather cool. That will just continually do that forever. And it still makes a little thing. It is quite a loud thing, so do be aware of that when you're buying this figure. That you may not be aware of just how loud it is initially intended to be, but there we are. That I think is a pretty cool little figurine. We're going to turn that off as well because that is going to be just chaotic. But yeah, hopefully we don't get demonetized for that Angel Island theme. That would be absolutely atrocious. Not that we make an awful lot of these anyway, but still, you know, it's nice to have just in case this gets, you know, a bajillion views. But there we are, folks. So that is the very cool original biplane of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. We're going to just disconnect the camera for just a second and just show you a proper scale of the biplane. Unfortunately, Tails is heading in there. There we are. And there we go. So that is very, very cool to see all around. Unfortunately, this is far too large to put on our little 360 gimmick. In fact, actually, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to try. We'll be back in just a second. And we have barely managed to do it, folks, but there we go. We can now see the full 360 of the entire Sonic biplane, which is a really, really cool little piece, especially if you're a fan of the old Sonic games, if you are familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Of course, the Red Tornado does come into other things such as Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 as well. I'm sure it's in other games. I think it's in Sonic Heroes as well. But it is an iconic piece that, of course, is a major part of the franchise. We've already seen the movie version of the Red Tornado, but of course the classic one is a very little bit different. And just for fun, there we go. It's going to be very difficult to talk over that, but there it is with its propeller blades spinning away, if you wanted to see that. I think it's pretty cool without the batteries in it, but that little gimmick is pretty cool in and of itself. And I think... Oh, thankfully it turns off itself. Oh my goodness, I was going to turn it off naturally, but with the switch, there we go. And that's a little sound to let you know that it's turned on and turned off. But there we are, folks, and unfortunately that is the end of our Sonic line for just now. There will be plenty more coming in the future, do not worry. So again, Even though there won't be any Sonic videos for a little while, do click that subscribe button so that you can see when they do show up once again, because of course the big old Grand Cat really enjoys his Sonic fans that are part of the Grand Cat Grand Fleet. So it's always real nice to see, and of course with your help, with the views, the comments and the likes, really determines what goes on in the channel. So do make sure to share this around with your friends, give it a like, give it a little comment, say whatever you feel like. It all helps the algorithm to help this get shared, and if the Sonic videos get a lot more love, I'll be more inclined to do more of them in the future so that you guys can see a lot more of these glorious little videos. But I think that is us for the time being, folks, and I'm not sure what it is we're going to be unboxing next. It might be Spider-Man, it might be Five Nights at Freddy's, it might be Poppy's Playtime, and might even be some Gundam stuff. We've got a whole bunch of things. And of course there's always One Piece WCFs that we have an infinite amount to go through, it feels like. So there's plenty of other stuff. And we've also got a whole bunch of very expensive little Storm collectible figures, including some from the Mortal Kombat line that I've been meaning to get around to doing, and Hajime, no, not Hajime no Ippo, Baki the Grappler. Hajime no Ippo would be awesome. Storm collectibles, get on that. Hajime no Ippo figures. I will take one of each. But with that said, folks, that is going to be it for this little video, and I really hope that you've all enjoyed, I really hope you all enjoyed this Sonic series, and I really hope that you're all still enjoying Sonic the Hedgehog in general, because he does have his ups and downs, but me, big old Grand Cat, has been a fan since the very beginning, since I first saw Sonic the Hedgehog 1 in a store window, and was like, oh my god, it's amazing. So, and from staring at it in the window for so long, my dad actually managed to get a parking ticket because we were in front of that particular store for too long and he couldn't drag me away from it. So that's an interesting little story as to how I got introduced to Sonic the Hedgehog. But there we are, folks. That is going to be it for this little video, and I really hope that you have all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy it, please give me a like, share and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure you click that notification icon so that you can see when more of these glorious little videos go out. And we shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.